He cost me my wife, so I ruined his lover over and over again. Either 10, 20, or 30 years ago, I married my high school sweetheart, Betty. I had just graduated high school, and she was staying in high school, pregnant with our first child Frankie at age 18 to 19. Throughout her pregnancy and our dating I was informed of Betty's condition of epilepsy. She had infrequent seizures, and I have seen her have a grand mal seizure twice before the incident, once while eating, and once on a family hike. The light flickering through the trees triggered it, we think. So later down the road we have our second child, living on our own in a trailer park in Bloxnard. My wife has always been a little bit punk, dyeing her hair many times over and over, and now having to shave her head as a result of her extremely damaged hair. She dyed what was left of her hair pink. She was a belly dancer, had a style of her own, and really had a don't F with me vibe she gave off to anybody but me and our two boys, Frankie and Sam. These aren't just nostalgic details, they are important to the slowly increasing plot. That being said, one afternoon while Betty is getting ready to drop the boys off at Grandma's to hit the mall, she had another seizure, a bad one. It's hard to be too descriptive without choking up right now, but she knew it was coming the second before. She hits the ground, I do my part to put her on her side and sweep the mouth. I know this is frowned upon now for some reason, but it's what her parents trained me to do. I call an ambulance, telling them help, my wife is having a grand mal seizure, a bad one. Whilst trying to instruct my frightened 3-year-old to go to mommy's bedroom, Sammy was hardcore napping at 11 months, literally inches away. The ambulance shows up and takes her. I stay back because Grandma isn't there yet for the kids. I called to make sure she'd be there soon. Otherwise I'd have to drag the kids with me to the local hospital. Grandma gets there and I drive to the hospital as fast as possible. I get there pretty quick and talk to the doctor within a few minutes. The ER physician, we'll call Dr. Thoreau, steeped in irony, whose mercy I was at, told me that we're going to put her under to do a CAT scan / MRI / something having nothing to do with her epilepsy. In my naivete, not understanding that I can tell him what I want him to do, I just said okay. I did tell him, however, that she had a seizure, has had seizures in the past, etc. He didn't believe that the seizure was epileptic in nature. He asked me about substances she's taken, drinks, etc. I told him no, she doesn't do that, but she did have a drink a couple of nights ago. He was super convinced, based on her appearance I presume, that this was substances, and that she just needed to get it out of her system. Toxicology comes back, no substances in system. Dr. Thoreau says this doesn't test for all substances out there. Wow, doc, so she's put under now, kept in that state, in the meanwhile no EEG machine, which measures brain waves, to determine that, yeah, she's having a seizure, dumb booty, give her some phenobarb or whatever. I didn't know the importance of all this at the time, so we're just waiting for this test and that test and for her to come out of the under nest or whatever. This takes a day and a half. They finally allow / acquire an EEG machine, with an EEG tech, and come to find out I was right, that all along, she was having seizures. The entire time. Now she is brain dead. Now I'm signing DNRs and hospice and neurologists are asking me about Buddhism and if I've tried it. Nice try. So she died days later. Then something called 9/11 happened, which not only was 5 days after what would have been my wife's 23rd birthday, but exactly my 25th. Let's just say it was a rough year. My father-in-law tries to go to one of those law tigers with the case, but they say it needs to come from the husband. At first I don't want to go through this process, despite knowing that this mofo's arrogance caused my wife's demise. I eventually lawyer up, get referred to a great attorney on contingency, and begin the lawsuit process. Revenge is starting. EEG techs, hospitals, various entities involved in Betty's care, all separately settled out of court for unspecified amounts, well specified to me obviously. This is just the beginning of the revenge. Of all the entities that bowed out of the fight and handed over a check, this arrogant doc wasn't having it. He wanted a trial. He really wanted me to have to relive the pain I've been going through the past couple years just protect his / her name. We take it to court. Revenge by jury. 7-2 in favor of the plaintiff. Dr. Thoreau fell below the standard of care. Judgment for umpteen $1 million. Goodbye money. Civil suit done. Enter fallout in the medical community. Ultimate revenge is that the doctor had his license suspended for a time, and didn't practice medicine for a long time. Then he tried his / her hand at different types of professions. Unemployable in the medical field. To this day, dude's broker than I ever was.